Hello everybody, welcome to this edition of the Coaching Conversation. In this series, we're looking to help business owners, business leaders see how coaching can help them and their teams be the people they want to be, achieve the things they really want to achieve in their life. We also aim it at fellow coaches. What we're really looking to do is to show them our experiences and hope that inspires them and helps them develop their own skills and practices. I'm Graham Wiley. I've been coaching business leaders and business owners around the world for the last 2 decades. Nothing more to say now other than get ready, get comfortable. Here comes this edition of the Coaching Conversation. This is all about helping people develop their coaching skills around management and leadership, or if you are a manager, perhaps seeing how a coach might be able to help you develop those skills for yourself. So, let's bear with me 1 minute. So, why did we think this would be of any interest to anybody else? Well, it's a feature in virtually every coaching program I'm involved in. One way or another, the ability to manage other people in whatever circumstance, for whatever reason, comes up. And as I think we all probably know, most people are promoted into positions where they're responsible for other people or for an organization or for a department with very little, if any, preparation for that. And yet, we also know that people are any organization's greatest asset and typically one of their greatest challenges. So why do I think I know what I'm talking about? Well, I have run very large organizations. I've also built my own businesses from scratch and sold them. I've been a non-executive director in many organizations, and I'm currently working in 5 in that capacity right now, which gives me a huge scope of experience. I've also worked in the third sector doing trustee work for non-profit organizations. I do have 2 qualifications in coaching, and I have coached executives and business managers and leaders around the world for the last 20 years. So I think we're going to start by finding out what it is that coachees, people who are working with a coach or people in an organization, what is it they actually want help with in respect of leadership and management? What is management? See if we can distill that into something very simple. What is leadership? See if we can distill that into something simple, and then bring this all together and see exactly how a coach might help with that. So what is it coachees, people in a coaching program, want help with? Well, the end point is very often very similar, but the start point is something else. People arrive with a need to improve their leadership and management skills from different positions. Some of them have been newly promoted and they're just looking for guidance and support. They may be suffering from a degree of imposter syndrome. Why me? How come I'm in charge of all these people? What do I do next? It might be they've got a very real management problem or a very real people problem right here, right now. And that could be because they're growing very rapidly. It could be they're actually having to downsize, or it could just be a one-on-one issue with one individual. Often, people have an absolute fear brought on by a lack of confidence. They don't feel in control of their role, they don't feel in control of their people, and it absolutely undermines their ability to complete their role. And just generally a fear of getting it wrong. And then there are other people who realize that being known as a great leader, as a great manager, is a great attribute, and it positions them well for their next promotion or for getting more out of their business. in simple terms, all they really want is clarity. They want someone to show them what management really looks like, what leadership really looks like, and to demystify it. They really want access to other people's experiences of managing people. And ultimately, they want to be pretty good at it. So getting it wrong, what does getting management and leadership wrong mean? Well, to start with, there's a plethora of HR legislation that's very easy to trip over. And that can really frighten managers, particularly junior managers, people who've just suddenly become responsible for people, because they just don't know what they don't know. But they know they need to be very careful. Clearly, if you're managing people badly, you can get a lot of demotivated staff, which might upset them, and it may well upset your boss, and that ends up not being conducive to anything very much. Getting it wrong, worrying about managing people is a stressful place to be, and it's not where anybody really wants to live. You want to be confident in the way in which you're running people around you. Clearly, people who are badly managed often leave. There's the old phrase, isn't there? People don't leave organizations, they leave bad managers. It's not difficult to demotivate people if you're a poor manager. It's not difficult to demotivate people if you give people very little leadership. And that can lead to damaging the business, whether it's upsetting customers or just generally not delivering results. And at the same time, you're not generating the opportunities you might do. If you're busy spending all your time worrying about managing people and worrying about finding out what leadership's all about, you're actually not doing what you're really there to do or you really want to be doing. And therefore, the opportunities don't get identified, don't get executed. And if you're in a larger organization, getting it wrong might mean you just don't qualify for the next step up. So what does being better at it? Well, clearly the reverse of everything on the previous slide. But the truth is, the culture in an organization is how things get done around here. And the management style is how things get done around here. So creating an effective culture requires an effective manager, requires an effective management and leadership style, which will lead ultimately to greater performance. And one of the ways of knowing that is that there is a feel of ease and flow about the way that things are running. You know what it's like yourself on a personal basis when you're in the zone, whether it's doing something in a gym or whether it's some other sporting event or whether you're writing a report or giving a presentation, when it's just coming, it's just so easy. And that's when the performance is at its best. It's also when it's the most fun. It's also when it's the most enjoyable. So getting better at it delivers those things, a greater culture, a more effective performance, less stress, and a more enjoyable environment to work in, both for you and for the people around you. So what is management? Well, I think it's always helpful to have a simple definition, something you can get your mind around. It is the organisation of resources to produce outputs. So people, time, money, machines, whatever. It's getting stuff done by other people. And good managers get stuff done efficiently. Great managers get it done efficiently and well, with everybody motivated and on board with the process. But management comes from authority. Ultimately, the manager is telling people what to do. He or she is responsible for those outputs, responsible for organising those resources, and they have to give instructions for that to happen. So how do you get people to actually do what you want them to do? Well, if you give them an incentive, or a series of incentives, as in what's in it for them, you've got a better chance than if you don't do that. So if you offer them various carrots, and the carrots might not be money, clearly they could be a bonus, but it might not be. It might be experience, it might be training, it might be an opportunity to do something they've really wanted to do for a long time. It's anything that they value, that they want to do, and therefore will willingly do what you want them to do. And clearly, the reverse of that carrot is the stick. If you don't do what I want you to do, there will be a consequence. The real skill of a really, really good manager is knowing at an individual basis what are the carrots for the people that you are looking to manage. What, on an individual basis, are the things that will motivate them, encourage them to do what you want them to do? And if you can feed into that, you're going to get willing horses. If you have to resort always to the stick, something's going wrong. Either you've selected the wrong people, or you're organizing them incorrectly, or you're giving them the wrong kinds of instructions. Which means emotional intelligence is a fantastic management competence. It's probably the cornerstone management competence. If you are emotionally intelligent, if you understand yourself well, and if you understand other people well, if you can empathize with other people, if you can engage with other people well, you're on a really, really good foundation to be a good manager. It won't solve any technical issues around the things you're trying to organize. It won't give you craft skills. It won't give you any kind of professional skill sets, but it will equip you to deal with the people around you. And the old adage that treating people the way you'd like to be treated is almost right. It's certainly better than not doing it. But actually, if you treat people the way they would like, you're much more well positioned to get an effective output. So if that's management, the organization of resources to produce outputs, what's leadership? And is it any different? Well, the reality is management leadership is one of those phrases that's put into the same sentence all the time, as though they are the same thing, in the same way that often sales and marketing are said in the same sentence. And the truth is, they're not the same thing at all. Sales and marketing are not the same thing, and leadership and management are not the same thing. So what is leadership? Well, here we go. Here's another definition. It is the creation of a compelling vision people choose to follow. And the choose piece is really the most important part of this. Because it doesn't come from authority. You can't compel people to follow your leadership. You can create a vision, you can create an aspiration, you can give people a lot of reasons why, but they will choose whether they follow you or not. It's not implementation, it's not getting stuff done. It's a vision, it's an aspiration, it's a goal, it's a North Star, it's a sense of purpose. It's a reason why. And there might be multiple elements to that, but in essence, it's the reason why people are in the business for you. And it can be a real big corporate, big picture, or it can just be something relatively day to day for an individual department. And a really, really good leader is able to create a vision which adapts to changes in circumstances. Over time, things change. If you take technology as an example, clearly it moves along at a rate of knots. And so a really good leader understands the circumstances of the organization and is adjusting the tiller, is adjusting the direction, and therefore perhaps changing the goal ultimately. but it remains credible. Everybody understands why. It makes sense, and they keep buying into it. And ultimately, that's what sets the agenda for the manager. Ultimately, the manager is delivering, organizing the resources, the outputs that will lead to the delivery, the creation of the vision, the achievement of the goal or goals. So it's two different things. Leaders create visions, they set direction, they create an aspiration that people buy into. And managers turn that into a reality. In big organizations, clearly, boards of directors can be very detached from the day-to-day operational functions, and they can have strategy teams and so on and so on and so on. And so they can be a specialized role. Leadership can be entirely detached from management. But in most SMEs, that's just not real. The people running the organization, the people making stuff happen, are also the people setting the vision, setting the agenda, deciding what they're going to do with this organization. And so understanding that these two things are different, understanding that these two things are necessary but separate, is a great starting point, particularly as a coach, in helping coachees understand how they can move forward and develop skills in both these areas. So as a coach, how do you help people develop skills in leadership and management? Well, it's no different to any other subject, really. You help them work out whether it really is a leadership problem, a management problem, or something else. Is it imposter syndrome? What is it? And you help them get to the root cause. All the normal open questioning, all the normal challenging and inquiry, all the normal coaching techniques will help you and them identify what the root cause is. Is it a management problem? I really know I'm really, really good at the vision, but I'm not that good at actually getting stuff done. Or the other way around, I'm really good at getting stuff done, but I don't really know where we're taking this business. Once you've got to the root cause, you can lay the foundations for the development program. What are they going to do differently to help them build these skills? What are they going to do differently to get experiences to help them build the successful changes that they want? And then as a coach, just like any other coaching program, you are there to help them through all of the challenges that change can bring. And remind them that they are now a light year away from where they started. And they should recognize that however imperfect it is today, how much better it is now than it was yesterday. And as their coach, helping them celebrate success is an integral part of the job. Helping people recognize they have developed themselves and they should celebrate that is important. So when it comes to leadership and management, it's really important to get to the root cause of the problem. Is it simply a single interpersonal relationship issue with one person? Is it a problem with a group of people, a department? Is it actually a management problem at all, or is it something else? Managing people is one of life's big challenges. And making individual coachees recognize that this is exactly what it is, a real challenge, and they're not alone in finding it difficult, is a good starting point. Not because it allows them to give up, but because it's a nice grounding to recognize that they're on a well-worn path. I think the two definitions are really helpful. They're quite simple. They're not difficult to grasp. And I think they're really helpful in helping people get a bit of clarity around that's management. So when I'm doing that, that's management. But I do need to have a vision in order to know where I'm taking the business and convince people that there's a sense of purpose as to why we're doing what we're doing. And then working out whether they're going to get formal training for these skills, whether they're going to get on the job training. Are they actually just going to do a bit of deep end diving? What are they going to do? How are they going to go about finding out how to get better at this stuff? How are they going to know that it's working? What are they going to see? Are they going to do employee surveys that give them a sense of how people feel? Are they going to be watching efficiency KPIs? What are they going to do? Are they going to be asking customers for feedback on performance? What are they going to do? How are they going to know that change has happened? And clearly, as a coach, your job is to keep them on track. Your job is to help them hold themselves accountable for the progress that they've committed to making. If they say they're going to go on a training course, have they booked it and have they gone? If they're going to do an experiment with a new way of talking to people, how did that go? And amongst everything else, and not only in a coaching program, in the day-to-day job too, they'll have a whole bunch of other stuff going on that's eating up their time and eating up their front of mind. And so helping them prioritize this and make sure that this is a key skill that they are developing is an essential part of the coach's role. And that's one of the reasons why you're there. And I think unusually amongst a lot of the work that we coaches do, this is probably an area where mixing mentoring, sharing your experiences, sharing your insights is particularly helpful, particularly with young, inexperienced people who are new to supervising other people, or people who are really, really challenged by it for whatever set of reasons. Because this way they can see that they're not alone and they can take confidence that there is a good way of doing this stuff and that they can acquire it, they can develop it, they can grow it. So there we are. How does coaching help management and leadership in today's organizations? I think we're at the end of the presentation. So if there are some questions, I'll be very happy to take them.
Thanks, Graham. I've got a couple of questions here for you. So first of all, are good leaders made or are they born?
You can acquire skills to be a leader. You can teach yourself to be a leader. You can recognize that creation of a vision, and a compelling vision at that other people buy into, can be a skill you acquire. But the simple reality is, if it's not a vision that excites you, it's not a vision that you really want to achieve yourself, it won't be very authentic and people will see right through it. So are you born, are you made? You can develop the skills to be a leader, but it's got to be something inherent to you that you really want to be involved in. I hope that answered that, Emma.
Absolutely. I can see one of our participants, Noala's come on the screen. Would you like to ask something?
Oh, I didn't really have a question, but yeah, I think maybe Graham, something around the interview process of that, kind of what would you be looking for in a leader around that stage, or if promoting somebody within an organization, what skills, experience, attributes would you be looking for if managers were to identify leaders in their workforce too, or were? I
think that the interesting thing, Nuala, is going back to what I've just said a minute ago. I think you're looking for an energy level, you're looking for an interest, you're looking for an excitement or a passion that is genuine, that's really there.
Yeah.
So someone could be a very good supervisor, a very good manager, but there's no fire in their belly about the actual things that they're doing. They're just mechanically getting them done very well. A leader is someone who really wants to achieve the goal, really wants to move towards this North Star. So if I was looking internally for a manager to turn into a leader, someone who's going to take perhaps a new organization or or take over as the leader of an organization, as opposed to being, say, perhaps a functional head, I would be asking questions like, well, what are you going to do with this business when you're in charge of it?
Mm-hmm.
What sort of things excite you about this opportunity? So I'd be inquiring around their energy levels and inquiring around their ideas and excitement. Now, that doesn't mean I'd expect them to have all the right answers that align with my answers. But what I'm looking for is a sense of ambition and drive.
Yeah, super.
Did that give you the answer?
Yes, thank you. Thanks.
Thanks very much. And finally, Graham, how easy is it to be good at both management and leadership?
Not easy. Managing people is the challenge. I said it was all the way through the presentation, and you'll get better at it. You'll be more experienced at it. You'll know more about the things that work and don't work, but it will always be a challenge. And there'll never be a day where you think, I've mastered this. There'll be a day when you're more comfortable about it. There'll be a day when you feel more confident in the things that you're doing, but you will know that people are infinitely capable of being challenging. And so being good at it, yeah. In terms of leadership, I think it's very difficult if you are somebody who is very passionate about something, not to turn into a good leader. Your energy, your excitement, your enthusiasm will be entirely addictive to the people around you, if it's real and if it's sensible and it's credible. So that's a natural kind of instinct. Now, how you join the two together, I think, comes down to doing both things and working on both things quite separately. The leadership piece might come more naturally if you that way inclined, but the management piece, you've got to be able to say, right, if that's what we're really going to do, that's what we're really going to aspire to, how are we going to organize these resources? What are we going to do to make that happen? And so I think the answer to the question is, it's difficult, but it's very, very important, particularly in SMEs.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Graham. Well, I think that concludes our Q&A section. Thank you, everybody, for attending today. Thank you, Graham, for hosting our really interesting webinar. If anyone would like any more information, you can contact our website, theexecutivemindset.co.uk, or please contact Graham via email at theexecutivemindset@sagegreen.com. So once again, thank you for attending, everybody, and have a great morning.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. See you again soon. Bye. So there you have it. That was the latest edition of the Coaching Conversation. Hope it was useful. Hope it did what it was meant to do for you. If you want any more information about our coaching practice, it's at the executivemindset.co.uk. While you're there, you can book your own free session, which will give you a much deeper insight to what coaching can really do for you. If you enjoyed the session, please give us a good rating. And if you want to reach out for further information, do email me at theexecutivemindset@sagegreen.com. That's about it for this time, and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.